lifeguard seemed to forget that. Izzie coyly pushed her wavy, shoulder-skimming brown bob out of her hazel eyes. It's kind of hard not to when we're pulling you guys out of a rip current at least once a day. Brayden gave her a sharp look. I told you 1,000,000 times I was fine. You didn't look fine, Izzie reminded him, wrinkling her freckled nose at the memory. You were going against the current instead of with it, Brayden interrupted and shook his head. The dimple in his left cheek began to form. I'm never going to live that down, am I? Nope, Izzie said, feeling at ease, like she always did around him. They were just friends in a teasing, sort of flirty way, but for some reason it didn't matter. Well, it mattered a little, but they had such a good time together that she almost forgot he wasn't her boyfriend. She knew practically everything there was to know about him, from how much he loved to surf to his favorite iPod playlist. They liked the same bands, preferred water over dry land, and would take a slice of pizza over a hot dog any day. Maybe that was why she was beginning to dread the thought of school starting in 2 weeks. When would she see Brayden then? They hung out only at the beach. She wasn't even sure where he lived. Whenever she asked, his cryptic answer was always, nearby. Brayden looked at the shore as he bobbed up and down on his board, and Izzie tried not to ogle his toned arms. So, ready to try surfing again? Maybe you can actually stay on the board today. Izzie pulled herself up on her board and floated next to him, their tan knees touching. Brayden's, she noticed, were beaten up and bruised from some crash landings. Do we have to keep doing this? She groaned. Why do I need to know how to surf? I told you so you can do it with me. Let's try this again, okay? Brayden instructed, his square jawline set. I'll make you a deal. If you can manage to get up this time, I'll buy at Scoops. Izzie grinned. You're on, surfer boy. She reached down and attached her board's leg strap to her ankle. She'd learned her lesson about being untethered last week when she had to swim after a runaway board. Then she paddled after Brayden, trying to remember his instructions, when to stand up, how to lean left or right into the wave for balance, how to hold her legs. Brayden had given her this board after he bought one that had a pirate ship on it. The gift had come with one condition, that Izzie keep both boards in the lifeguard hut for him. Brayden said his board didn't fit in the back of his Jeep. He had just turned 16 and his parents had bought him the truck for his birthday, which led Izzie to assume that Brayden didn't live that close to Harborside because she lived there and no kid she knew owned a car, let alone a new one. Izzie looked for the balance point Brayden had marked with wax and tried not to cork the board, as he'd called it, something about too much weight in the back. She watched Brayden almost 15 feet ahead of her, the proper safety distance, and saw him effortlessly stand up on the board as a wave began to crest. She tried to remember what he'd said as she got closer to the waves and pushed up on the board, keeping her legs on the stringer and gripping the board with her feet. She was supposed to look like a sumo wrestler, and it was working. She was up. Was Brayden seeing this? Even her feet were in the right positions. Then, 2 seconds later, she fell and cursed herself for looking down, which is what Brayden had told her not to do. The surf was swirling around her, and as she swam to the surface, her board whacked her in the head. She dragged the board behind her as she hit the beach a few minutes later with a scowl on her face. Brayden watched her as he stood next to 2 kids playing in the sand with plastic army men. His board was staked next to him, giving him the appearance of a guy who had just won a Teen Choice Award surfboard. Brayden probably could win, for looks alone, if he lived 2,500 miles away in California and was discovered by a film agent. Robert Pattinson's mug had nothing on Brayden Townsend's. I can't believe you looked down, Iz. It was going so well, Brayden said, as if she needed reminding. Izzie rubbed her head. I know, and I'm going to